I was doing my You Just Have to Laugh presentation on the Norwegian Jewel. And after the show, a woman came up to me and she got my books and she got the DVD I have on first responders and cops and firefighters and paramedics.
Several people have said, where does the name Walter's War come from? It was named after my dad.
And she told me she was a counselor, a therapist, and she talks to those folks. And I asked her where, and she told me in St. Louis area. And I said, how far are you from Ferguson, Missouri? And she goes, well, that's where I work. I work with the first responders, what they went through that were there.
He always taught my brothers and myself that if you have an issue, you have a problem, you have something that's big, don't run from it, don't hide it. Talk about it, face it, and walk through it, get to the other side.
And I said, Gene, you got to get me there. I want to come and bring humor and laughter and healing.
I've been here for 20 years.
This is your home?
Correct. I worked here. I've helped build the city to what it is, or what it was before that. I spent 4 years in community relations. I worked hard, and a lot of people here did. And for that to happen here, the way it happened, it's more of a shock because this was not a community like that to begin with. All the things you see on the press about how it's very divided and all that, it is now, but it wasn't.
Before the shooting, it was not divided?
It was not divided.
No kid.
Yeah, everybody here got along great. They worked well together. Attended functions. This weekend is Street Fest weekend. There's all kinds of different people here. It always is, always has been. I was the first one there after it happened, yeah. I had to hold that scene for about 17 minutes by myself. So it was pretty hectic. There was groups of hundreds of people out here, sometimes 1,000 people probably. Right across the street, up and down the street, in the parking lots across the street, and then they would try to come over here and cause violence and mayhem.
What are you thinking while this is happening?
Well, I'm trying not to. When all that's going on, I'm trying to just look through everybody and concentrate on nothing. Because you take it very personally, and if you become emotionally involved in it, you wind up saying things that are going to be misrepresented later.
I'm a counselor. We have a counseling center. We see officers and their families. And he said, I'd like to come. I'd like to be part of that group. What an awesome opportunity to be able to help people learn that it's okay to laugh.
I was really excited about doing the show. The reason I'm laughing, the show was kind of raw. Actually, it wasn't in Ferguson. It was in Hazelwood, Missouri, at a Knights of Columbus Hall. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to Knights of Columbus Hall. They're pretty raw, usually just a big room, kind of a yellow tint from all the fluorescent lights, a bar, and that's it. They actually stood me on top of 3 tables, was my riser, and a screen behind me to play the video. And I started off the show, because when I first talked to Jean before, and I told him this, she was hoping there'd be more people. And there's 125 people. I was very happy, because it's not a big community. And so I started off the show by going, hey, look, we need somebody to call dispatch right now and tell them we're having some trouble at the Knights of Columbus Hall in Hazelwood. And then some cops will come, and firefighters will come, and paramedics will come, and other people will come thinking there's a problem. And then when they get there, we'll go, there's no problem. We're just doing a show for you. But while you're here, why don't you take off your weapon, grab a beer, and let's have some fun. And they liked that. They thought that was pretty funny. It's a good laugh, actually. It was a great laugh. It was a great time there. It was important that I show the footage of the first responders that I had in other episodes so they would know that I could relate to how humor and laughter helped them. And they loved it. A great response. And as I looked around while I'm doing the show, it occurred to me, these were the cops. These were the firefighters. These were the paramedics. These were the first ones on the scene in Ferguson. You look around, and these people just are in their street clothes. They look like folks. But these are the people that wake up every day that protect and serve and help us and heal us in difficult times. And they were laughing. Man, we were really laughing. It was a great, great time. Didn't even realize when it was going on that all these emotions that had been pent up from the Ferguson ordeal and the year afterwards and everything that happened was slowly coming out. Was coming out during the laughter. And that's what Gene and I were working for, to hope for. What did this laughter tonight do for you as a police officer, all the stress you've been going through?
I thought it was awesome. It's just a reminder that we're not alone, and we're not alone in the way we think and the way we find things humorous. even though they're not. It's a coping mechanism.
Because a lot of times it's misunderstood with first responders. We get, as you said, we get in a lot of trouble sometimes because they see you laughing or having a good time or whatever. They think you're having a good time, and really that's not what it is. It's about dealing with bad time and getting through it, getting past it.
We're a proud group of individuals, and we don't want to show weakness. We don't want to show, that we can't take it and things like that. And really the laughter part of it is that release. We laugh at things, and you could call them jokes or humor that most individuals wouldn't find funny. But we get it. It's firehouse humor or whatever you want to say, but that is our release. It isn't disrespect or taking anything away from the patients or the victims, but guys are hurting. They really are.
It will affect you, and the problem is if you keep that on you and it keeps affecting you, then it builds and builds and builds until it causes you some serious problems.
You got guys taking their own lives. You've got guys that can't finish their career.
Making a little levity in the situation, and it may not be the specific situation. It could be anything around. It could, but something just to take that edge off, to keep you where you can still be in the game and still do what you have to do.
We had a call not too long ago, and it was a murder. And, we came home and we're driving back. It was real quiet, just kind of real quiet in the truck. And, he looked over at me and he goes, Cap, we shouldn't have to see some of the things that we see. And, that stuck with me, that you don't think about that, but that really bothered him. And the next morning in the shift, you could tell it still bothered him. And that really has stuck to us, that these guys out there really shouldn't have to see the things that they see. And there needs to be a release or a mechanism to help alleviate that pain.
I can't imagine too many other things that will give you the ability to deal with things as they happen in such a liquid, fluid, dynamic situation than just to laugh and move on.
If you didn't laugh at it and you didn't get that out of you, I don't think there's a medication, I don't think there's anything out there that could take that away from somebody.
About 3 months after the event, I called Jean. Said, Jean, what was the response? I'm really curious. She said, David, we got 3 cops to come on board that next week. And what she meant by come on board, 3 cops were there. They were holding in a lot of emotions after Ferguson. And they laughed and looked at all their friends laughing and other people on the screen laughing. And they said, it's time that I start dealing with these emotions and these frustrations and these nightmares and some of this PTSD that I'm dealing with. It worked.